Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where we talk about the things we love like gaming, shows, and anime. I think we can all agree that Scarface is one kick-ass film that never gets old. I mean, at one point the movie's fame came back with a vengeance, which was around 2003, and even a video game came out because of all the hype. Even though the protagonist wasn't someone to look up to, it shows you how anyone can go from being dead-ass broke to becoming like the richest man in the state. So, enough of the intro about this bombastic of a fucking movie, and let's begin with the list. Number 10. In 2003, when the movie's hype came back and the DVDs were selling off the charts, the studio tried to convince Brian De Palma to change the soundtrack so that rap songs by Scarface, 50 Cent, and many others could benefit off the movie, which had nothing to do with them. Luckily, De Palma said no. Not to be a dick or anything, just that the movie is already perfect and it would only butcher the film if it was changed. Number 9. Apparently Robert De Niro was offered the role of Tony Montana, but he turned it down. Kind of a good thing because by the looks of it, no one could have played the role better than Al Pacino. And we've already seen plenty of movies with Robert De Niro spazzing out at his wife, so it would probably look like another Raging Bull film. Number 8. Many fans don't realize this, but the movie Scarface that we all know is actually a remake of the 1932 film Scarface, and Al Pacino was actually the one who thought of making a remake of the original 1932 Scarface film, which that movie was based on Al Capone. Number 7. The only time someone calls Tony Montana Scarface is when he's tied up and about to get killed with a chainsaw, only he's given that name in Spanish, Cara Cicatriz. The funny thing is that the Spanish title for the movie is not Cara Cicatriz, which does translate to Scarface. It is instead called Cara Cortada, which translates to cut face. Number 6. Tony's mother, played by Miriam Colon, is actually only 4 years older than Al Pacino. That's insane, they look like they're years apart. Number 5. Many of the songs used in the film can be heard in the radio stations of the game Grand Theft Auto 3. It is one of the best features of the game and the first game to give us Scarface references. Number 4. Grand Theft Auto 3 may have used the songs of the Scarface soundtrack in their radio stations like Flashback FM, but if you play Grand Theft Auto Vice City, it is pretty much the real Scarface game we all wanted. Grand Theft Auto Vice City is the closest thing to reliving the movie than its own inspired game. The environment has 80s written all over it, the main character's name is Tommy, similar to Tony, and the mansion you own by the end of the game is an exact replica of Tony's mansion in the movie. You even get to duke it out like in the final scene of the movie. It is fucking epic. Number 3. According to the scorecard feature in the Platinum Edition of the Scarface DVD, the word fuck and its derivatives are used over 226 times for an average of 1.32 fucks per minute. You see? I don't fucking cuss as much as this movie does. Number 2. Brian De Palma loved the script of Scarface so much that he straight up dropped out of directing Flashdance. A decision I would have definitely gone with myself. Number 1. The first time director Brian De Palma submitted the film to the MPAA, they gave it an X rating, so he had to cut out certain scenes to try and tone it down in order to receive an R rating for the movie, but it was still given an X rating. So he then again had to make additional cuts, and yet again the MPAA gave it a fucking X rating. De Palma refused to cut the film any further as it clearly ruins his vision of the movie, of how it should have been in the first place, so he arranged a hearing with the MPAA. They brought in a panel of experts, including real narcotics officers, to which they said that the movie was a real portrayal of the drug underworld. This eventually convinced 20 members of the rating board to give the third submitted cut of the film an R rating. Now, Brian De Palma thought that if the third cut deserved an R rating, then his original cut should receive an R rating as well, so he asked the studio if they could give the original cut an R rating, but they refused. However, since the studio execs didn't really know the differences between the original cut and the third, De Palma released the first cut of the film into theaters anyways. He got away with showing the world his original version as expected in the first place. He didn't confess this until months later after the movie was already released into VHS tapes. And that's it for the list. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, leave a thumbs up, share, and subscribe if you haven't. And if you have any video requests, just leave it in the comments, and chances are you'll definitely get to see the next video based on your request. If you haven't seen my channel yet, go ahead and check it out. I already covered 10 awesome facts on movies like The Predator, comic book characters like the Suicide Squad, and games like Super Smash Bros. And every day I'll be adding more facts on movies, comic book characters, and games. Anyways, see you all tomorrow, and remember to have an awesome day.